All right. Good afternoon, everyone. So we're gonna review options in this YouTube recording, then we'll review my futures trading after. It's been a crazy green streak for both options and futures. Every single day this week has been pretty much green as far as the strategy is concerned on futures and options. Every day has been green. We do have that masterclass on Sunday. If for some reason you're unable to add me as a friend or just DM me, just comment in this YouTube video to establish connection, and I'll get you in there. It's happening Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern. I used to do these masterclasses once a month. Now I'm averaging like one out of every 3 months. They are absolutely incredible, but they are just a lot of work on my end. So I don't do them very often, so take advantage of them when I do. Anyways, as far as yesterday's options stuff, this is where we started. If I do some zooming out, I have some decent pivots. Nothing crazy, though. Nothing crazy. And I believe if I go on the 15-minute, not really going to see much else now. All right. So I started off by sending an alert 3 minutes before market open. I said, "Good morning, team. Leaning mildly bullish today. However, there's a very nice pivot below at 24,322-ish on NQ. We are nowhere near it now, but if we do become near it, it's a fantastic pivot to trade. I'm talking about this here. Whenever you have a solid pivot like this, previous reversal point, the price action tests it and barely misses it. That is a great PT to trade to. We also have something very similar on ES here. However, we do have lots of lower highs, and I am technically bullish for supply to break if we do invalidate this drop. But yeah, no major sentiment as of right now. Now, this is market open here. You can see that we opened fairly bullish. Nothing crazy. And then this candle, we get a major strength divergence. NQ is a lot stronger than ES is. You see the green candle on NQ, red on ES. Okay. I can work with that. If that selling wick invalidates on NQ, I can take a half size position. Now, it's only half size because I don't know if ES wants to end up breaking this demand. I don't know what ES wants to do, but it's a mixture of liquidity momentum and strength with the only thing in the way is supply. It's an okay trade to take. It's not super likely, but it's okay for a bit more aggressive trading. So that's kind of what the trade setup would look like. Realistically, though, it depends. Maybe I trim a bunch at the pre-market. I will have to see. So here's the candle, and I do fill on it. I get an okay fill. I filled right when I told you guys I was going to when the selling wick invalidates, right? You guys will often see me fill calls and enter longs on futures when selling wicks invalidate. We're going to talk about why that is in this weekend's masterclass, and it's very useful. You guys watch me do it pretty much every day. So I filled here. NQ is nice and strong, which is absolutely beautiful. And look at like a 1.6-ish risk to reward trade. And yeah, this thing just took off. It was awesome. Fortunately, I wasn't very heavy in this trade, so I didn't make a ton of money, but the gains were massive. And there's not even much reason to sell anything here. At least not a PT, because now I'm bullish for ES to break supply, right? So I really didn't sell much. I trimmed a little bit as NQ hit the supply, but really I'm looking for ES to break supply. Started trimming more as I started putting in more resistance. 146% gains is what I got. However, if we bullishly consolidate and NQ maintains its strength, I will be re-entering QQQ calls. I didn't enter on this candle. Didn't enter on this candle. If we come back up, I'm taking a light entry. Boom. Took a light entry. Now, this is kind of lighter size. Usually when I say light size, like 1/3 normal position, then I have half the normal position. And that's because I want to be able to average down. I don't know if ES is going to go for low of day. I know that NQ is only just now starting to bullishly consolidate, so it's fairly likely that it may want more oscillations. But really the grand PT here is this supply break. And I stopped tracking. I had one single runner left for this original one. I stopped tracking where that went. But it looked okay. Here's a second oscillation. Here's the invalidation of the second oscillation, almost. There it is. I took, it was actually an average down that I took. Actually an average down that I took here. So roughly 2/3 size, a little under, a little bit more than half size. I'm willing to add one more time. And full size position here. Just about. I don't remember if it was truly full size. A stop loss became hard. My average dropped to around 72 cents, I think, something like that. Beautiful bull flag, right? Now I took a gamble and I entered the bull flag early. And that's why I entered light size and gave myself room to average out. Also, I thought there was a good chance ES may want to go for its nearest pivot because this is pretty heavy supply. I was correct and it did. So we managed our sizing perfect. But you would have been even better off if you just didn't enter and waited. But regardless, there you go. And ESPT here. Boom. I don't remember what the initial runner got to, but you're able to get 44% gains on this trade. I averaged about 35 to 40%, something near there. I mean, I pretty much sold at this high, and I don't believe I went too much further. No, not really. And that was it for yesterday morning. Just pretty basic. First trade, the trading was much more aggressive yesterday. I was looking for those short squeezes, but ended up getting them. And yeah, 2 trades, both green yesterday. 146% on one is what it got to right up here. Obviously, I averaged less than that because I trim. I don't just hold of entire position to 100% like I'm brain dead. And then second trade got 44%. You could have done better. You could have done worse. 2 trades, bright green morning. Does anyone have questions regarding this morning? Super straightforward stuff for just a basic summary. You're not sharing? Okay, well, I am now. Yeah, you guys gotta. None of you guys pinged me when I was doing that. It's all right though. It is recorded, so. All right, now we'll move on to today because you guys probably don't care as much about yesterday. And again, this is recorded, so you guys can watch back that 5-minute yap session. All right, let's go to today. Right before market open. This is 1 minute before market open. Now, today was kind of a special case. You can see that today's different than the other days. We dumped right before market open. I couldn't really figure out a good reason why. I mean, Microsoft lowered its AI sales expectations, which is kind of bearish. I mean, the market's still expecting December rate cuts, which is bullish. You had ADP data, which was slightly bearish. Really, nothing stuck out to me that was like, okay, it makes sense why this drop happened. So I wasn't actually bearish at all, right? I mean, mildly bearish just because we've already dropped, but nothing crazy. What really stands out to me, and why did my indicator not come with me? It's like the first time it's ever happened. By the way, something's up with TradingView servers when it comes to indicators and algorithms. Over the last month or so, not just the last month, but over the last few months, if you have an advanced script, like the supply and demand script, it's phenomenal. It's very advanced, but sometimes it doesn't update as fast as it should. Like if a demand zone forms, it may take 20 minutes for it to actually show. I have a buddy that builds algorithms as well. Our developer builds some algorithms, and they're having the same issue. So double check and make sure there's no zones where you think there should be. Anyways, a first thing that stands out to me when I zoom out is look at these lower highs. What I just say about pivots when they miss, they make fantastic price targets. So if we get anywhere up here, I'm pretty bullish for all these yellow lines to break. Also down here as well. We have nice ones down here, but they are guarded by a million demand zones. So that doesn't help the likelihood. We are coming off of a bullish liquidity sweep, which is this low. We did sweep this pivot here. And on NQ, well, look at this pivot. Look how it barely missed it. This one missed by like 2 ticks, which is tiny on NQ. So this is a major pivot to me. Very major pivot. And yeah, I need to check. I like to think I sold too early on my... Yeah, I did a little bit. Anyways, major pivot here. Another kind of major pivot here. But this is a big deal. So we have a lot of really nice pivots to trade to. But the problem is, why the heck did we drop? I have no idea. This pre-market sentiment, or this pre-market setup doesn't look like any of the recent pre-market setups. And as you guys know, we have been on one hell of a run in the mornings options wise. So I decide to trade a lot more conservatively with you guys live this morning. And that's kind of what we do. So let me pull up my options channel. And exactly what I told you guys is due to a completely different setup this morning. I'll be trading more conservative. Personally, wouldn't be surprised if I had another red day, but I'll still trade as I see fit, as per usual. I'm just going to be less aggressive. All right, I had one red day. I've been averaging like one red day a week, maybe a little bit less than that, like one red day every week and a half. So we've been freaking kicking ass. And the last red day I had, I wasn't too sure about the pre-market setup. Anyways, so I'm just, I'm doing what I can. First things first, ES is a lot stronger than NQ. If I get decent enough strength divergence, I can maybe string together a little trade. That same strength there. Here's a drop. You can see NQ is a lot weaker than ES. It invalidated way more than this green candle. ES did not. And then we invalidate. So I take a small trade at the close of this candle. SPX calls half size. And this is kind of a mixture of NQ demand. Plus, I'm not buying the bearish sentiment this morning. I'm not buying it. I'm kind of leaning bullish for the entire drop to invalidate. And the futures with trades, I predicted that, and my stop loss kept getting freaking swept. But I eventually did have my big trade and ended up green on the day, futures wise. But options, we didn't get high enough. But that's kind of how I'm feeling now. My idea is ES is a lot stronger than NQ. NQ's in demand. I think demand is likely to create some kind of bounce on NQ. I want to bet that NQ is going to get to new high of day. That's my bet. But I need to go half size because NQ may want to sweep low of day, so that's my plan. I will average down and add my second half to this trade if NQ sweeps low day, which is right here. And I'm not seeing a lot of volatility around this open, so I'm not really concerned with it going all the way down to here, just because it's not looking very volatile. It was green for a second, and then NQ swept. I did take my average down on this candle. It was a beautiful average down, except the calls this morning, another reason for my bullish sentiment, I forgot. The call premiums were not chopping at all. So I averaged down here, but unfortunately, I only filled it. I entered initially at 2.45 on my SPX calls. I filled them at like 2.3, I think. 2.35. No, it's 2.35, I remember. So my average down dropped my average by a whopping 5 cents a contract. So that pretty much did nothing for me. And now I need to be vigilant. So we did get a volume spike and a buying wick on this candle, which I really liked. So I pretty much filled my average down at the end of that candle, was indicating a bullish liquidity sweep. Keep in mind, this isn't a big pivot or anything, so I'm not expecting a huge run. And this is starting to turn into a little bull pennant on ES. Now, this is a great place to take profits. This selling wick, really, I wasn't a big fan of it at all. So I trimmed around half here for 25% gains. I was not a big fan of the way this market was opening. Very different from the previous days that have been great. Not as much direction, not as much volatility. So I did trim half for 25%. And I was thinking I'm kind of thinking NQ is going to start chopping down so I can re-add that second half. We'll see how that goes. Well, NQ starts chopping down. And I ended up stopping out. Not here. My average was like, it was something like that. I don't remember exactly. Stopped out at the close of this candle. Maybe not at the close. It was somewhere right around here. I forget. I need to look at my charts. Anyways, I stopped out during this candle. minus like 25% on my second half sell. So first trade is useless. It's break even. Damn good trim though. But to be honest, this is potentially bearish consolidation, and I still have this pivot here, and I have another pivot right here that NQ could easily get to, right? So with the way NQ's dropping, yes, my stop loss could get swept, and it could come back up, and then I'd re-enter. But it's too big of a risk because I need to allow NQ to go down to here if I'm going to see if it's going to make another sweep and then come back up. If it goes just a little bit further, then I have to stop out. And that's a big difference between stopping out right here and right here. Stop out for 20%, 25%, or 60%. Big difference. I would much rather just re-enter. If we bullishly sweep, then shoot back up. So that's kind of what I'm feeling. And I was concerned that my stop loss did get perfectly swept, and it kind of did. Kind of did get perfectly swept. So if you missed the exit, you could have easily taken the exit there. But NQ did not make a lower low, and it did end up going lower. But now it's clear. NQ has flipped stronger than ES. There's a potential bullish liquidity sweep. Look at the buying wick. Look at the volume spike. That looks solid. This is also kind of a solid trend line as well. If we come back up, I will be triggered into calls. And keep in mind, normally I would be cautious with the potential bearish consolidation. This drop was a whopping 10 minutes long. Literally, it was 9 minutes. 9 minutes of a big drop. This consolidation has been going on for almost 40 minutes now. It's not bearish consolidation if the consolidation is twice, 3 times, or even 4 times as big as the leg before. Doesn't make sense. So that first trend isn't really affecting my bias much. The demand is affecting my bias more than this trend, and you can see it is a daily demand. And ES has a million demand zones here. You can see how bright my screen is. There it is. I fill calls here. Filled my QQQ calls. Made sense. There you go. Boom. That was my one win this morning, plus 81% gains. It wasn't a very bright green morning, unfortunately. But and that's just because I wasn't super. Again, I told you guys coming into today, I was trading a lot more conservative, not very aggressive. None of my positions were full size entries. Not a super green day, but solid. I'll take it. 80% on a trade, even if it's not full size. That's a good amount of money right there. So that was my single win. I didn't really have any losses. I closed my last runner like halfway down this candle, and that was it for me. I continued away. I gave a TA alert. If we invalidate most of this drop, it will look good for this low, but watch the head and shoulders. It never even triggered that TA alert, which was pretty cool. And then I was pretty much bullish for this high, and that's where futures kind of took over. So today and yesterday were pretty easy days. Not days of high volume, just days of pretty high quality, which keep in mind, I don't control that, right? I get in pretty much whenever my discretionary analysis tells me to get in. So I don't choose to, I'm not forcing myself to just take 2 trades, win them both and leave. I don't trade any differently on these days than days where I have to enter 6 trades because the market keeps stopping me out or whatever it is, right? I try to trade the same every single morning, and it's just up to luck how I do. But what I do know is the way I trade works. It makes me money, and just like a casino over the large series of events, I will always, always, always be green trading the first hour of market open. So that's that for my analysis over the last 2 days. Does anyone have any questions? Pretty easy mornings. Very quick mornings too, done pretty much in 30 minutes. So no questions, everyone's good? All right, sweet. Well, I'm going to download this recording now, and I will ping you guys when it is posted on YouTube. Also, we do have that giveaway here in 6 minutes, so I'm going to do that real quick. Just $250, $25 to 10 people, and We have another one, I believe, tomorrow. So $500 today and yesterday, or today and tomorrow, and then we have a TA lesson. I'm gonna delay the TA lesson a little bit because this trade review is taking a bit longer. Um, but we do have a TA lesson within an hour and a half of market close. I'll tell you guys the exact time. I do have to prepare for it though, just a little bit to remember what I talked about last year so I can re-record it this year. And yeah, but all right. And like I said, if any of you guys are interested in the masterclass, highly recommend you guys do not miss it. DM me at Bryce Trades or just send me a friend request. And if you cannot find me, comment on this YouTube video and I'll respond. All right. Give me 1 second while I post this and we'll get on with the futures review.